things that fascinated me was that almost all of the Wall Street analysts who covered Enron had buy ratings or strong buy ratings on the company's stock.
Why were the analysts blinded to the company's deceit?
We relied on the information that was available at the time.
I trusted the integrity of the company's certified financial statements and the representations of the company's management.
And we've been absolutely upfront with the analysts.
Jeff Skilling was the critical component in creating the Enron illusion. Time and time again, when we had a question to the sell-side analysts that they couldn't answer, the response was, "I'll give Jeff a call. I'll run this by Jeff."
By giving Jeff a call, the analysts weren't analyzing at all. They were willing to believe virtually anything Enron told them.
Most of the analysts right now have the target price on us from $100 to $115 a share.
Any analyst who didn't buy the company line became an enemy of Enron. Enron's CFO, Andy Fastow, had his eye on John Olson, one of the only analysts skeptical of the Enron story.
Enron loved analysts' strong buy recommendations.
Merrill was informed by Fastow, either you get somebody who is on board with us and has a strong buy recommendation and loves us at the same time, or we don't do any business with you. I knew that my days were numbered.
This is an abuse.
Merrill Lynch fired John Olson. Soon after, Fastow rewarded the bank with 2 investment banking jobs worth $50 million.
Analysts were routinely getting large bonuses from the investment banking departments to bring in investment banking deals. Once that happens, never was heard a discouraging word.
While Enron's stock kept rising, its businesses kept losing money. Looking at the soaring stocks of the dot-coms, Skilling decided to take Enron into cyberspace.
We're now in the process of seeing if we can create a bandwidth trading market.
Enron is using its knowledge of trading gas to barter other forms of energy, even space on the information superhighway called bandwidth. Ken Rice has worked at Enron for 20 years.
Enron has found a way to stay ahead of the curve.
From 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., we're paying for bandwidth that we are not using. Why? Why?
One of our themes around here is to always be asking why. Why something's done a certain way or why it's not done a different way.
There's our market. Why can't we sell the bandwidth to other companies? Make it a commodity, like a pork belly.
Just last week, Enron captivated Wall Street with its bold move into broadband, teaming up with Blockbuster to deliver movies on demand.
It was like being at a religious cult meeting. People started jumping up from their seats with their cell phones and their BlackBerries, running out to the halls to call their bosses.
One analyst summed up his recommendation to investors in one word: wow. Enron's stock soared 34% in 2 days.
And you can tell from the response in the stock market that they like the strategy. It makes sense.
They announced that they had developed the technology. It would be in test markets by the end of the year.
And the technology works. The quality is great, and the customers like it, so we've made a lot of progress.
The truth was that Enron was just struggling with the technology for video on demand.
The technology didn't work, and the deal with Blockbuster soon collapsed. But with the magic of mark-to-market, Enron used future projections to book $53 million in earnings on a deal that didn't make a penny.
By the end of the year 2000, Enron was running out of ways to make the broadband business look successful. They'd tried every trick in the bag to try to create the illusion of a business where there was none, and the people who were working there were getting increasingly desperate.
The executives started selling their stock. By Enron's collapse, Ken Rice had sold $53 million. Ken Lay had sold $300 million. Cliff Baxter, $35 million. Jeff Skilling, $200 million.
As the fraud is perpetuated, all the various lies and artifices begin to convince the ringmaster, if you will, himself, that it's this own bizarre reality. That in fact, the fraud is the reality. The perception is the reality. And as long as you can keep the perception going on, it really isn't a fraud.
You spoke about bandwidth trading. What about weather options or futures? How is that market developing? Yeah, we have a market in weather.
When Enron announced its latest plan to trade weather, people wondered whether it was good science or science fiction.
Did the weather guys get punished here if the weather is wrong? I mean, they're predicting.
Do you have any whip marks on your back there, Mike?
Well, unfortunately, that's a good call.
Jeff, as time went on, had a harder time admitting things were wrong. And I have to believe that, you know, when the lights went out at night, he knew what was coming.
I would liken it to the Titanic when you've got a captain who's saying maintain full speed and they bump into a couple of icebergs and then they still keep full speed going. And the captain of this ship, Enron, he ignored all the warning signs, and there were plenty of them.
And the captain of the ship was?
Kenneth Lay.